All right, Shalom, Shalom. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into this lesson. All right, hold on. All right, we're getting right into this. It's part 2 of the series. We're gonna go into more what this lesson about. Slavery, you know, how you done to the people, man. I was gonna say a couple words how I feel about things, how this lesson is. The perpetual hate, so against so-called Negro Latino Americans, man, especially so-called Negroes, the way how you downgrade them, you hate them so much, people trying to live life to themselves, and this damn devil, so-called white man, just show his hatred towards his people, man. As you see here in this video we're going into, 12-minute video, then, but it's all the curses, man. And they call it all kind of niggas, and we ain't nothing, we lazy, and all this. But we know it's all the curses of Yahweh Shema Shah. So we're going to get right into it. And the title is, sorry for a minute. Yeah, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So let's get right to the lesson, man. It's just part 2. Got a lot more to show. This devil wickedness, his hatred towards the so-called Negro Latino Americans, man. You want this, man. Come on, the dark commercials up, watch.
The official death toll is 37. Nobody who's studied these events believes that to be true. It's more likely within a range of 100 to 300. At least 1,250 homes in the Black community were destroyed as well, as were a number of churches, schools, business places, and other commercial establishments. The Red Cross provided relief immediately post-massacre, food, shelter, clothing. By all accounts, did a wonderful job. Black folks, particularly Black men, were rounded up and taken to internment centers throughout the city for a temporary period. It was ostensibly for their own protection, but according to survivors, it left the community essentially defenseless and unprotected. So looters came in and pillaged homes of finery like jewelry and expensive items that some of the more wealthy residents of the community had owned.
The Tulsa and Elaine massacres were not isolated incidents. They were just 2 of many, and they were representative of a broad backlash to the social status of Black people in the United States. The goal of attacks like these, historians say, was to maintain white supremacy by any means necessary. And the effects of these attacks on Black communities can still be seen and felt today.
Some people will say, well, slavery ended years ago, or even segregation ended years ago. That's in the past. Why are you dredging up the past? Well, the past isn't the past. And I think of my whole body of research that I've done, looking at different events all across the world, you find this over and over and over, that the effects of the past linger, and they have consequences. And in general, if these events are historically important enough, they shape the way the world is today. After learning about the Tulsa Massacre and reading a bit about it and realizing we don't have a lot of hard statistical evidence about what the consequences were. That's basically where I came in, is just wanting to know what were the consequences of the Tulsa Massacre. So immediately after the massacre, we find that Black household heads who owned homes fell by 4.5 percentage points. And then if you think of another measure of that is, are you an individual that's living in a home that's owned by someone in your family? That measure of homeownership fell by 6.3 percentage points. And the other thing that we find is decline in occupational status. And one measure of occupational status is to look at, is an individual working in a white collar occupation? There's a 3.1% chance that you're in a white collar occupation. Then after the massacre, that figure falls by 2.3 percentage points. So that's a huge effect. It's 66% decline in white collar occupations. That result is controlling for, taking into account everything else that's going on in the economy and also between different racial groups. But it's not just in Tulsa, but we see these effects in other parts of the country as well. So we look at newspapers all across the US and basically look and see, are they covering the massacre in the days right after? And what we find is where there is more intensity of coverage about the massacre, the effects that we find in Tulsa, we also find in those communities as well.
Just like we know that there's a thing such as generational wealth, there's also generational poverty. What we found in working through the Justice for Greenwood Foundation and our work with our survivors and descendants is that this generational poverty or generational lack of opportunity started with the massacre. And let's talk about Viola Fletcher. After the massacre, and Mother Fletcher had to flee for her life with her family to Claremore to live in an impoverished state, she was not able to go back and finish school. And it caused her lots of problems in life. For most of her life, she was a domestic worker, working for pennies, working for white families that treated her less than they treated their dogs. You know, Leslie Benefield Randall, also a little girl at the time, only 6 years old, but she was in town with her grandmother, Molly Benefield. And obviously during the massacre, she's a young lady. She says she can't remember a lot, but she does remember running. She does remember them coming to the door saying, the blacks need to get out. The white people are killing all the black, particularly the black men. She remembers being taken to the fairgrounds, which was one of the places they put our people in those, what they called at the time, concentration camps. Hughes Van Ellis, we call him Uncle Red. And obviously he was a baby. He was an infant at the time of the massacre. I think he was 6 months old. Hughes Van Ellis and Viola Fletcher are brother and sister. They lived a lot of his childhood outside. I mean, they basically lived in like a tent. They basically had to survive off the land, and it was very traumatizing for him and something that shaped his life.
A 2018 study from the American Journal of Economics and Sociology estimated that if 1,200 median-priced houses in Tulsa were destroyed today, the loss would be around $150 million. The additional loss of other assets, including cash, personal belongings, and commercial property, might bring the total to over $200 million.
You might be asking yourself, can you actually create high-quality live streams for free? What was
So the Greenwood community, as a business community, was destroyed as a testament to the resilience and the indomitable human spirit that was endemic in the community. The community was fully rebuilt, began to really boom, peaking in the early to mid-1940s. That continued throughout the 50s, began to decline in the 60s and 70s for a couple of reasons that are really important to the story, if you want to connect 1921 to the present. At the macro level, one of the major things that happened was integration found its way to Tulsa. The Greenwood community as a business community was successful largely because it was a closed market, which was attributed to the Jim Crow laws that existed. So because of segregation, there was a need for a Greenwood community. Black folks couldn't get what they needed, couldn't ply their trades in the larger dominant white community, so they created their own economic space. Even the black folks that work outside the community bring their dollars ultimately back in the community. That begins to change when the world begins to change because of integration. So black dollars then have another outlet. It's hard for a sole proprietor or a mom and pop type small business in the Greenwood community to compete with Walmart. That opening up, ironically, has the economic effect of undermining the success of the black community. When the black community begins to decline because of integration and other systemic factors, there's a movement in the 60s and 70s designed ostensibly to address blighted communities called urban renewal. So you see a blighted community, you come in with urban renewal, and you buy up the land, and you take away the properties. So what then you get is black folks losing their businesses, losing the land, and really struggling. So today what we have in the Greenwood community is a community that is actually bustling, but it's not a community in which black folks own most of the land.
The pins on this map mark just some of the more well-documented attacks on black communities from the Civil War into the 1900s. But it doesn't include the countless other assaults on black communities during this time period, from countless lynchings to entire black communities being expelled from their towns by white mobs. The scale of damage here is, in many ways, incalculable. Families torn apart, communities destroyed, and generational wealth erased. Like many other communities impacted by these type of racist attacks throughout history, black residents of Tulsa and Elaine are still looking for justice and some semblance of closure.
I would love to know what happened to my people or my family, and if I can figure out what happened to them, if I could get information, that would be great. But I know that they're not going to give it to us.
Who owes the people? That argument could be had on a lot of different levels. You know, the governor himself participated in massacre. So is the state responsible? The governor asked for federal troops to be sent in. Is the federal government responsible? Is the local government responsible?
So yeah, we're just gonna cut that off and get right to the scriptures and let it go. So you see here, man, the perpetual hate against the children of Israel, especially so-called Negro, the hate he got toward you people, you know. But this is not our rest anyway. You know, so let's go to Amos chapter 1, verse 9. God said the Lord, for 3 transgressions, and for 4th I would not turn away. The punish thereof, because they deliver up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brother covenant. But I would set a fire on the wall of Tyre, which shall devour the place thereof. Verse 11. God said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4th I will not turn away the punish thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off pity, and his anger terror perpetually. He kept his wrath forever. You would kept your right here and kept his wrath forever, man. Let's do that again. Amos chapter 1, verse 11 again. Thou said the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I would not turn away the punish thereof, because he did pursue his brother with his sword, and did cast off pity, and his anger terror perpetually, and kept his wrath forever. All right, and kept your wrath forever. So let's move on. We're just gonna go right into it. As you see here, the document of the video. You know, let's see what else I got. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Isaiah 10:1, it say, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and they rich and grievous which they have prescribed, right? Woe unto them, he said, man. Destruction. Isaiah 10:1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and they rich and grievous which they have prescribed, and turn aside neediness for judgment, and take away the rations from the poor of my peoples. Their widows may be the prey, and they may rob their follower, man. Man, you got a lot to pay, man. Verse 3, and what will you do in the day of visiting and in the desolate, and which I shall come forth far, to whom when I flee from help, and where you leave your glory, where I leave your glory. Let's read it again, man. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 2. Turn aside iniquity from the judge, and take away the right from the poor of my peoples, that the widow may be the prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Right? Rob. See Jeremiah. Jeremiah 49, or is it 50? Yeah. Jeremiah 49, verse 10. Jeremiah 49, verse 10. But I had made Esau bare. I had uncovered his secret place, and he should not be able to hide himself. His seed is poor, and his brother and his neighbors, and he is not. Lead the fathers and children, and preserve them alive, and let the widow trust in me. For thou said the Lord, behold, thy whole judgment was not to drink of the cup. I have assured you to drink, and there are he that should altogether go unpunished. They should not go unpunished, but they should surely drink of it. Right? Surely drink of it. Verse 13, for I have sworn by myself, said the Lord, the bosman shall become a desolate, a reproach, and a waste, and a curse, and all that city thereof shall be pestilent, wasted. Right? Pestilent, wasted. Jeremiah 49, verse 10. But I had made Esau bare, I had uncovered his secret place. He should not be able to hide himself. His seed is poor, and his brother and his neighbor, and he is not. I think it's Jeremiah 51 or 7. Which one is? We're going to find out. Okay. Yes. Oh yes, 50. 51. I'm just gonna get a couple of them and get right to the point. If I don't, I'll be too long into this. Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Jeremiah 51, verse 7. Oh, verse 7. Verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Deliver every. Yeah. Jeremiah 51, verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul, for be not cut off or her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Verse 7, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, He made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right? Babylon been the golden cup from the Lord's hand. Let's move on. Lamentation. Chapter 4, verse 22. Bring this up. Lamentation chapter 4, verse 22. The punish of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, and I will no more carry thee away unto captivity. I will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom, and I will discover thy sins. Right, he will discover thy sins. Read it again. Lamentation chapter 4, verse 22. The punish of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away unto captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. Right. So you see here, people were trying to live it up, but they were trying to live peaceful, all that, but it's all of you. How about Shema Shah? He controls these things, man. Let's go to Isaiah 45 and 6. He controls all these things going on. And let's go to Isaiah 45. Isaiah 45 and 7. Isaiah 45 and 7, it said, I'm from the light, I create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I'm the Lord. I do all these things, right? He do all these things, man. Yahweh by Shema Shah, man. Isaiah 45 and 7, I'm from the light, I create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. I'm the Lord. I do all these things, right? So it's all of Yahweh by Shema Shah, man. So you do all these things. Why we need to be tempted? Because why? Let's go right to the scriptures. Why this happened? Why? We're gonna go right. Oh no, it's not 12, it's 10. Deuteronomy 10, verse 12. And what it say? Deuteronomy 10, verse 12, it says, and now Israel, what does the Lord thy power require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy power with all thy heart, with all thy soul. Verse 13, to keep the commandment of the Lord and his statute which I command you this day. Hold on. Again. Verse 13 again. To keep the commandment of the Lord and his statute which I command thee this day, for they are good. Right, for they are good, man. So we didn't do that. We didn't keep the commandment. We didn't keep the statute. We went off. But it was all control of Yahweh Shema Shah. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Verse 15. It's curses. Let me get right to it. Yeah, okay, here we go. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it should come to pass if thou would not hearken to the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandment and his statute which he commanded you this day, all these curses should come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? You hear that, man? Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and do his commandment and his statute which he command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Verse 16, curse should be in the field. No, curse should be in the city. Curse should they be in the field. Let me read it again. Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Curse should they be in the city, and curse should they be the field. Verse 17. Curse should be basket of thy stores. Curse should be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the creasing of the kidney and the flock of thy sheep. Curse should be with thy coming in, and curse should thy be with thy going out. And let me see. So you see here, man. You can't walk past it. You can't go with it, man. Let's read it again, man. No, Deuteronomy 28, verse 37. It shall become astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, where the Lord should lead thee, right? Become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, where the Lord should lead thee. Move on, man. And look at our people, man. We destroyed, man. Deuteronomy 28, verse 40 to 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because they have hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandment, his statute, which he command thee. And they shall be upon thee for sign, for a wonder, and all upon the seed, thy seed forever. And verse 48, yeah. Therefore should I serve thy enemy, but the Lord should send against thee in hunger and in thirst and nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke on upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Destroyed thee, man. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. That's it. And the Lord shall bring thee. Let me see. Verses. Let me see. No, I'm just going to read verse 8. Go right to the point. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof has spoken unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And they shall be sold unto your enemies for bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you. Right? No man shall buy you. So as you see here, who does all this fit into, man? It's got to be that nation. As you see here, man. Ain't no way around this. You know, who we destroyed, our people destroyed, man. And look at our peoples, man. All right, let's move on. And you think you're going to get away with this, man? I don't think so. Let's go to Proverbs and we're going to leave it on. Go into a couple of scriptures, then it will be it. Let's get right into it. Your judgment, the so-called white man judgment. You're not going to get away with this, man. You destroy his peoples, but we know it's all of Yahweh. I was shot. I was meant to be there alone, but yeah, okay. Moving on. Proverbs 11, verse 21. Hand joining hand, the wicked should not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered, right? The seed of the righteous shall be delivered, man. Read it again, man. Proverbs 11, verse 21. The hand joining hand, the wicked should not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous should be delivered. You see all that, man. All you doing to his people, man. You oppressing his people. You know? Let's move on. Okay. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 2, verse 8. Zechariah 2, verse 8. For thou saith the Lord, let who the host after the glory, have he sent me unto the nation, which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you touched the apple of his eye, right? He that toucheth you touched the apple of his eye, man. Like right 2 verse 8. For thou said the Lord of hosts, after the glory, he has sent me unto the nation, which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you touched the apple of his eye, man, right? Let me see what else. I think that would be it right now. Yeah. Let's go to Revelation. I forget. No, I didn't forget. Yeah, 13 verse 10. Revelation 13 verse 10. I believe verse 9. If any man have the ear, let him hear. He that leads the captivity should go into captivity. He that kill with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right. Read that again, Revelation 13, verse 9. If any man have the ear, let him hear. He that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kill with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Let's go to Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Right. So who that lead in captivity should go into captivity. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. So you, man. Revelation chapter 18, verse 5. For her sins have reached up to heaven, and the Most High remember her iniquity. Right. Revelation chapter 18, verse 5. For her sins have reached up to heaven, and the Most High remember her iniquity. Reward her even as she reward you, devil, unto her devil, according to her works in the cup which she had filled to her devil. Right? Filled to her devil. How much more she had glorified herself and lived delicious. So much torment and sorrows give her, for she said in her heart, I have set a queen and no widow, and shall see no sorrows. Verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine. She should be utterly burned with fire. For the strong of the Lord, the strong is the Lord, a power who judges her. Right? Who judges her, man? Read it again. Revelation 18, verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, and famine. She should be utterly burnt with fire. For the strong is the Lord, power who judges her. Right? Your sins is reaching to heaven, man. So you see here, man, we have a right to have a hatred towards you. Do it to our people. You hate our people so bad. Look how you treat us right now, man. We niggas, we bow words, stunning, you know. And yeah, man. But, you know, these are part of the curses. So, hey, we ain't gonna do things on our own. No. He's gonna send his son down here to judge all this going on. He's gonna make it right. And the wicked, it's gonna be, yeah. So I'm gonna don't want to go into much. Yeah. So you see the video here that, you know, hey, you're not gonna get unpunished. You're not gonna get away with this, man. The time is coming. And that's the bloodshed you share the house of Israel. Yeah, man. So you see, and I'm gonna close it out right there. Really had too much to say, but just trying to make some. Yeah, man. So hey, recompense, man. You know, yeah, I'm gonna close it out right there, though. So hey, giving our praises to Yahweh, Bashim Abashah, double honor to apostle and the brother speaking truth around the world. Shalom to the elect. The brother G, man. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.